right. Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. Nick Marro here with Smitty, as always, to help you break down tonight's NBA DFS main slates on both DraftKings and FanDuel. We got a fun one tonight. It is the end of the year. Teams are resting guys if they're tanking. A lot of guys are just checked out. Then the playoff teams, a lot of guys are just resting their studs for the playoffs, obviously, if they're locked into seeding. Chuck and I were laughing through it yesterday, trying to figure out which games mattered. I do have a list up, which I'll go through in just a minute. But yes, Smitty, sounds like it's going to be pure chaos tonight. Any initial thoughts?
Oh yeah, it's going to be a crazy one. If you do play, you're going to want to be buckled to your chair, or computer, whatever, all night.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, I'm going to get to chat right now. No promises, though. We got to get through 11 games with a ton of news today. Beantown saying happy Friday. Barry Finch saying what's up. Appreciate you guys. Ben Jizzy, as always, saying it's going to be a fun one. That's one word for it, man. Beantown, I did see this question come up real quick. Does anyone else play FanDuel? Cash twice every other time and in the gap between the play line and the gray line. So this usually means you're playing a little bit too much chalk, Beantown, like if you're kind of on the bubble. So maybe just get a few more low plays into your lineup. Um, but yeah, let's keep going here. Appreciate you guys, Flagler. We're gonna have some fun names to talk about tonight. Heath, as always, Jose barely cashed last night with over 350. Yeah, it was one of those nights, man. You needed everything to go perfect. I will hold the L on Reese Beekman. Definitely got that one wrong. Was pretty happy about stacking the late game though. That did work out. But yeah, so let's go through real quick. I have it open on another screen. So the teams that need to win today, and some of these might not be on the main slate, so feel free to ignore them. The Pacers for the third seed. The Hawks are playing for seeding. The Bulls and Miami are still playing for seeding. Then in the West, we have the Timberwolves, Grizzlies, Denver, Warriors, Clippers, and Lakers in must-win situations. Teams that kind of want to win to maintain home court: Bucks, Orlando, New York. Pistons would have to beat Milwaukee in the last two games, so that's not very likely. But I think someone in Discord asked if Milwaukee's game matter. They do need to kind of win to hold that position. At the same time, they're pretty much locked in as long as the Pistons don't win two and they lose both. Mavericks are playing for home court in the play-in. The Kings are looking to maintain their position. And then the following teams, nothing matters: Sixers, Celtics, Hornets, Cavs, Wizards, Pels, Raptors, Nets, Thunder, Jazz, Spurs, Suns, Rockets, Blazers. So went through that quickly, guys. Obviously, feel free to rewind, play that back if you need to. But we're going to get right into the game by game here. We got a few games locking at 7 o'clock p.m. First one between the Orlando Magic and the Orlando Pacers, or Indiana Pacers. And again, Orlando, the game doesn't really matter so much. And for the Pacers, it does. They're playing for the third seed. So we're going to see the Pacers play their regular. Actually, no. What am I saying? They're not playing anybody. So maybe they don't want the third seed necessarily. I would have to look at the playoff matchups. But both of these teams are resting everyone. Let's start on the Orlando side. I guess I'll read the injury report, even though the whole team's going to be out. Um, I mean, like, I don't know how else to go about it. We got no Paulo, KCP, Wendell Carter, all out. Corey Joseph's available. No McClung, Suggs, Ethan Thompson, or either Wagner brother. So starting on Orlando, Goga getting the start here, probably the most interesting play in my opinion. Super, super chalky though, pushing 50% over on FanDuel, where he does have forward eligibility. So you could play him next to Jokic, who we'll talk about later, going to be one of the more popular plays on the slate. Obviously on DK, you could play two centers, so he looks pretty damn good there as well. Cole Anthony is in and healthy. He played 21 minutes, had a really good game against the Celtics last time out, but at the same time, I'd proceed with caution there. I do think we have other interesting value. Guys like Tristan Da Silva, we've seen have success at times. He's very cheap. I don't know, Smitty. It's tough for me to want to get to Orlando. I think the one play I'm really interested in is probably Goga. But obviously, you can make a case for anyone here. They only have 10 guys dressed tonight to play. How much Orlando are you getting to? Any favorites? Any priorities?
Yeah, getting to a lot of go-go. Or Goga currently, Go-Go. Goga currently. Cole Anthony's my second highest exposed. Tristan Da Silva's playable, but I mean, he's min price. I just don't, I kind of question his ceiling a little bit, but for me, it's Goga, a little bit of interest in Cole Anthony, and then Da Silva and Anthony Black are at least in play. But Goga seems like the priority from Orlando.
Yeah, they're very thin in the front court. They do have Jonathan Isaac available, but he's never a guy who plays extended minutes. So where you have Gogo for 28, that actually might be conservative. And you look at the value scores tonight, you're going to see some crazy numbers. 27.1 on DK, 21.9 on FanDuel. Again, power forward eligibility on FanDuel. We'll call Gogo a core play there for sure. Over on the Indiana side, I guess they could play for the 3 seed. Maybe they don't want it. But TJ McConnell, probably going to be the key here. But let's take a look at the injury report. So Halliburton's out. Jackson is out. Quentin Jackson's available. Not that he matters too much. Nemhard, Naismith both out. Pascal, Turner, Ben Shepherd all out. So if TJ McConnell starts, he looks like one of the best plays on the DK slate. On FanDuel, where he's 5K, it becomes a little bit more interesting. We have him for 28 minutes, though. If we're getting 28 minutes of TJ McConnell, kind of tough to get away from, honestly. Jarcy Walker is the other really interesting play here. We've seen him have some big games dating back to a few weeks ago, back to back games over 20 fantasy points in limited minutes against Washington and OKC. Assuming he starts here, I do have interest in him. One I'd proceed with caution on is Matherin. He's probably going to get the start, but he is a part of the playoff rotation. I don't know that he's going to play the 32 minutes we're projecting him for. So for me, I think McConnell and Walker look good here. And then the front court's interesting too, if we're being honest. I mean, Toppin, kind of like Mathurin, could be in the playoff rotation. So I'm not fully trusting the 30 minutes for him. But assuming he starts, he's tempting. And then Thomas Bryant getting the start here for Miles Turner, pretty interesting as well. I think I'd rather play Goga in the same game. But if you're looking for a pivot, it does make some sense on DK where they're about the same price. Smitty, TJ, if he starts for me, definitely a core play. Walker on DK where he's only 3,400, pretty interesting to me as well. How are you going to handle these Pacers?
Yeah, it's mainly TJ and Walker for me. Getting to a few shares of Obi Toppin and a little bit of Thomas Bryant, but overall, the majority of my exposure to the Pacers is going to be McConnell and Drace Walker. I think they both look like priorities, especially on DraftKings.
Yep, totally with you, man. I liked him on FanDuel as well, but obviously a little bit more expensive. Let's go right into the next 7 o'clock game. We got three of them. We got the Hawks taking on the 76ers. Starting on the Atlanta side of things, I believe they need to win this for play-in seeding. So looks like their starters are going to be a go here for the most part. No Capella or Jalen Johnson who've been out. No Larry Nance. Other than that, everyone is available. So this is one of the few teams that does look like they're going to be playing their starters for regular minutes. Pretty healthy, relatively speaking. Obviously, Johnson's been out for a long time, but I like Trey. I think he looks good. Last night we really keyed in on that game that mattered between Minnesota and Memphis. It kind of worked out. If you got to Ant, if you got to Jaw, but yeah, I mean, Young looks the best here. Okongwu's been playing really well. You can make a case for him. There's just so much good value at center tonight. He's kind of tough to get to. Dyson Daniels, fine. Levert, if you want to use him off the bench. Good matchup here. Certainly some blowout risk. I think it is a back-to-back for them, though, so maybe this game's a little bit more competitive than they want it to be on the road here against Philadelphia. Smitty, how are you going to handle the Sixers? I do think Trey's interesting. I can't really call him the top pay-up in terms of priority, but he's certainly someone worth mixing in, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Overall, that's really the only one I'm getting an exposure to here. I'm not quite at the 15% on DraftKings. FanDuel's price is a little more appealing, but overall, it looks like a decent spot.
Yep. You get to any at Congo, you think?
Currently, I'm not. No.
Okay. Yeah, there's just so much value at center. I totally get it. Depending on how many lineups you're playing, maybe worth mixing in. I think he still has forward eligibility on FanDuel too, so maybe a little bit more interesting over there. For the Sixers, no Drummond, Edwards, Embiid, George, Gordon, Grimes, Lowry, Maxey, McCain, Oubre, Reese, or Yabusele. So very short rotation for them here. It looks like Butler, Grimes, Walker, Bagley, Marcus Bagley projected to be the starter, and Smitty's favorite center, Adam Bona is going to be here as well. Yeah, I mean, when Lonnie's starting, taking a ton of shots, I definitely think you can mix him in. Good matchup for these guys, too, even though the Hawks are obviously the better team, paced up, kind of a mediocre defense. I can make a case for Butler. Grimes expensive, but going to be low owned. I don't know that I get there. He's not even in the model, so maybe he just got ruled out and I missed that. But yeah, I do think Walker looks pretty good. Fine mixing in Butler. Probably it for me. I mean, Marcus Bagley, assuming he starts, is tempting. Haven't seen him get over 20 fantasy points though yet. And even though he's cheap, that's kind of giving me pause. He's been playing the minutes we're projecting him for. So again, I like Lonnie. Don't mind maybe a little Bona, but Butler for sure. And then Doughton looks pretty good too coming off the bench. I think if he starts, I feel a little bit better about it. But if you're looking for a way to get different, there's a lot of chalky guard value tonight. Maybe he's one of the ways. That being said, he is drawing some ownership. But Smitty, any 76ers for you?
I'm getting to a little bit. It's mainly Lonnie Walker, assuming he starts, but still he's kind of priced correctly. And
Mhm.
then Jared Butler. It's mainly them two for me. I have a couple percent of like a Doughton, but no real priorities. I'm getting to the most of Lonnie Walker though.
Nice, man. Yeah, I won't spend too much time on Philly then. Again, it is a pretty good spot for them, short rotation. We got one more game at 7, and then I'll take a quick look at chat, guys. I don't know that I can get to everyone today, but we'll try to get to everyone as much as possible. Next game here, we got the Bucks taking on the Pistons. Giannis is in and available. I did just see that bit of news. The Bucks are still playing for seeding. The Pistons gonna have to win these two games as well to overtake the Bucks. So this should be a competitive game. Tight spread, high total, and yeah, both these teams relatively healthy. Looking at the Bucks side of things first, Dame is still out, obviously. Other than that, nothing really significant. Giannis, I think, looks good here, man. It is going to be a competitive game. Obviously, if we're looking for payups, we want them to be playing their full minutes. So I'm fine mixing him in again with Dame out. Probably going to see some extra usage. Kevin Porter has been a beast off the bench. Tail of two sides, though. I think on DK you can mix him in at 0% owned. FanDuel 7K kind of priced out of playing him at all, for lack of a better phrase. But yeah, man, I think it's just Giannis for me here, if I'm being honest. Obviously, Kuz, Portis, Lopez, you can make a case for them. But on a slate like this, where it's very much stars or scrubs, I like Giannis, maybe Kevin Porter on DK, but not much else. How about you?
Yeah, Giannis is the only one I'm getting to exposure from the Bucks. For me, he's the only one in play here, and it's mainly just because you'll need the raw points with all the value.
Yep, I believe he is second. Yep, second in OFNX today behind Joker. It is possible to fit them both with all this value, but we could talk about that a little bit later. On the Detroit side of things, again, they do want to win here. If they could beat the Bucks twice, I think they can overtake them. Beasley's questionable. Cade's in. Harper questionable. Ivy's out. Isaiah Stewart's out with an illness. Yeah, Cade, kind of same story as Giannis. I think the raw points make him appealing. At the same time, I don't know that I could prioritize him over Giannis or a Joker. But if you're looking to get a different build, maybe pay down at center, pay up at guard, I think a low-owned Cunningham does make some sense here, especially against the Bucks team, who historically has struggled to defend the guard position. Tobias Harris is back. That kind of cuts into guys like Thompson and Hardaway. They're okay plays, but can't really call either a priority. And I do prefer either going all the way up or all the way down in center tonight. So Jalen Duren just kind of left in no man's land for me. Not a great matchup for front court. Yeah, so maybe a little bit of Cade. You can make a case for THJ, who's been shooting the ball well, but probably no for me. Smitty, any Pistons for you?
Yeah, it's only Cade for me. I have exactly the same as the field. I'm fine with that. I think he looks good, but you can't really call him a priority when he's almost 11K. But definitely a good option to mix in. As for the rest of the team, I'm just not getting to anyone else.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Mike, do we like Isaac Okoro? We'll get to the Cavs and talk through the team. I mean, historically, he's not a guy who sees high usage, so he's not up the top of the list for me. Smitty, were you getting any exposure to Okoro earlier?
Let me double check. I hope not. No, I'm not.
Yeah, yeah, he's just he's never involved really. Smitty, Gary Harris starting for Cole Anthony. I'm fine skipping Gary Harris. Michael hit on flash draft. Shouts out, man. Love to hear it. No matter where you're winning, winning's always good. Any teams to fade because of playoff seeding is clinched. Landon, if you rewind the video, I went through every scenario. I'm going to talk about them as we go through the game by game. But 10 games, 11 on FanDuel. Don't have time to go back. Grimes and Edwards both out for Philly. So yeah, that definitely helps. Lonnie Walker. Butler a little bit. Who else? I guess Bagley's going to start there. It's pretty interesting. Shouts out to Don. One question. I'm going to give this one to you, Smitty. Toppin, Precious, Mogbo. Who would you play in single entry, or would you just play them all?
Oh gosh, I think they're all pretty good. Probably Precious, I would say.
Yeah, Precious coming off a huge game. Mogbo is as well. I think they priced Mogbo up though. I like Toppin, but I do think since he is part of the playoff rotation, I wouldn't be shocked if his minutes got trimmed a little bit. Yeah, Doug, we mentioned Downton. He's getting better now that some of these guys are ruled out. Probably a little bit safer than Butler. TJ on DK, tough to get away from. On FanDuel though, don't mind it as a pivot. And then yeah, find Giannis unplayable with all the value. That's interesting. I do think Jokic is a priority over him, but if you could fit both, there's a world where that works out. Moving into the 7:30 window now, we got a few games here, starting with the Hornets taking on the Celtics. Very, very widespread. Celtics, for whatever reason, going to give their guys some run here tonight. I don't think this game matters for them at all. They're locked into the two seed. Um, yeah, kind of surprised. Jalen Brown's out. That's it for them. Over on the Charlotte side, though, no LaMelo, Bridges, Diabate is questionable. Josh Green, Trey Mann, Brandon Miller, Grant Williams all out. Mark Williams isn't available, though. Is in and available, excuse me. So starting on the Charlotte side, Williams is in. I mean, I don't think I want to pay up for him. Like I said, I'm either going all the way down or all the way up at center. Not a good matchup for this team. You could maybe make a case for someone like Simpson or Salulin. Probably a no for me, though. Smitty, any Hornets for you here? One of the lower implied totals I've seen all season, 97 points here against the Boston Celtics, sub 100. That's crazy to see. Any interest in these guys?
Yeah, we've seen a few of these this year, but it's not very often. I'm getting to zero exposure from the Hornets, and I don't think you should get to anyone here.
Yeah. Over on Boston, again, no Jalen Brown. So proceed with caution here, guys. Boston has nothing to play for. Even if this game's close, there's a world where they just go to the bench at half. We've seen other teams do that. So be careful. Right now, though, I mean, Tatum looks okay, if index, obviously with Brown out, him, Porzingis, White, all going to see a little bit of a boost. The situation is just too sticky for me to get to any of these guys, though. Smitty, how about you? So
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I'm not getting to anyone currently.
Yep. Yep. No need, I don't think. And again, surprised they didn't rule more guys out. Next game here, we get the Cavs taking on the Knicks. So the Cavs are locked into the one. I believe the Knicks seeding could change, so they're still playing for something. But yeah, it looks like both teams are going to run out their starters here. Taking a look at the injury report, Cavs first. Garland's probable. Hunter and Jerome are getting rest after running around last night. Sam Merrill's going to be out, and Donovan Mitchell's out as well. So they're kind of resting starters. But we do have Garland, Mobley, Allen all available. Allen going for that Iron Man where he plays every game of the year, so he could get pulled at half like he did last night. I mean, as a betting man, I do think both Garland and Mobley probably follow suit, so proceed with caution on them. And no Ty Jerome tonight. So there is a world where Craig Porter becomes pretty interesting as a value play. But again, it's a tricky situation. Porter is getting love on DK. He's the one play I really do have interest in. Other than that, I think it's kind of tricky. Last night I said maybe Okiki got some run. He was a DNP. Saw Tristan Thompson get to 20 fantasy points, which is hilarious. But yes, I mean, probably nothing for me here. I'm afraid these guys get benched at half. Don't mind Craig Porter as the backup point guard, but certainly some risk compared to some of the other value we have. Any Cavs for you?
No, I have a couple percent of Craig Porter Jr. I think he's viable, just kind of a GPP play to mix in. But other than that, I'm not really getting to anyone here.
Yeah, we did answer a question a little while ago, a few power forwards, and we said Precious might be the one from the bunch. I don't know that that's the case though, because they're getting if this team's healthy, let me correct myself. OG, Brunson, Hart, and Towns are all questionable. If they're all in, Precious isn't going to look nearly as good as Mogbo. So just keep an eye on that. If they're all out, though, things could change really quickly. Right now, I don't have much interest in them as a team. We're going to kind of have to wait and see. If they're out, though, McBride and Precious probably slide in the starting lineup and become very appealing. Those would be the two I'd keep an eye on. And I listed all the starters except Bridges. Interestingly, and it's funny, he's been complaining about playing too many minutes, so maybe they're punishing him. They're going to let everyone else rest. But yeah, maybe McBride and Precious for me if these guys are ruled out. If they're in, though, not a ton of interest in the Knicks. How about you, Smitty?
Yeah, could be McBride and Precious, but it just depends on news. That'll be something you have to swap to because right now we just don't have clarity on the situation. But if they're all healthy, I'm currently not getting to anybody.
Yep, I'm with you, man. So yeah, those are the 7:30 games. Let's go ahead and knock out the two at 8 o'clock. Wizards and the Bulls here. So as far as playoff scenarios, obviously the Wizards are out. Chicago is still competing for play-in seeding though, so this game does matter for them. So keep that in mind. On the Wizard side of things here, no Sadiq Bey, no Brogdon, Koulibaly, Gill, Holmes, Kispert, Middleton, Poole. And they're listing JT Thor available. Not that that matters. Just funny that the whole injury report's who's out, and then they somehow felt the need to list JT Thor as available. But yeah, Bud Carrington's been playing a ton of minutes. He looks good. I love Alexandre Sarr. The minutes have been super inconsistent for him, though. So again, I'm going to say this 100 times. I'd rather pay all the way up or all the way down at center tonight. Probably don't get to him. Kaishan George is back in the lineup. You can make a case for him here. The minutes have been cut as well for him, though. Champagne, I think, is probably the most interesting. Over 35 minutes, three straight games in a row. Fills a very thin small forward position as well. So definitely have interest in him. If AJ Johnson starts, I think we have better value. Bub Carrington, though, I don't hate. So yeah, it's mostly Champagne for me here. Maybe some Bub. And yeah, I think Vucevic a little bit risky off the bench, even with the short bench. So probably don't get to him. But again, Champagne looks good to me, Smitty. Anything from the Wizards for you?
Yeah, I think Champagne looks pretty solid as well. Him and then Carrington's kind of seen a price bump. I think he's still a GPP play, but it's mainly those two. That's pretty much it. I think Kobe Jones is at least in play, but pretty much just Champagne.
Yep. I'm going to tend to agree. Again, the Bulls playing for seeding, but Ball and AO are both out. Giddy is questionable. No Trey Jones. Jalen Smith is probable, and Dalen Terry is questionable. So if Giddy's out, Kobe White's going to look really good here. If Giddy's in, the price is insane, but this is an amazing matchup in a game they do want to win. So I could see mixing him in as a tournament play. I'll say it again. I'm paying all the way up or all the way down at center, so I'm not going to get to much Vooch. He looks like an okay play, though. Buzelis continues to produce, but with the price increase, having trouble getting to him. There's a case for Herder, scoring dependent, price where he should be. I don't know, man. I think it's Giddy if he's in as a tournament play. If he's out, though, White and Vooch are going to look a little bit better. But right now, as much as I want to get to this team, I'm just not really. How about you?
Yeah, same. I think Giddy's the best play from here. Other than that, I'm not really getting to anyone. It's mainly Giddy or nobody for me, and he looks pretty good. But there's a lot of guys that look pretty good that are in the same price range. So, still a GPP play.
Yep, totally agree. We got another game here at 8 o'clock between the Heat and the Pels. Pels obviously playing for nothing. Heat though are playing for their play-in seeding, and Spolster did come out and say that they're going to run their regular rotation. So, as a DFS player, definitely appreciate you today, Eric Spolstra. Still got to go through the injury report though. Burks, Hero, Highsmith all available. Jovic, Larson, Love are out. Duncan Robinson available. No Drew Smith. Andrew Wiggins is actually back and available here as well. So again, this game does matter for Miami. We'll talk about New Orleans in a moment. A lot to talk about there. But yeah, with Wiggins back, I do think Hero and Bam are a little bit overpriced. Wiggins, if I get to anything, sure, fine. Davion Mitchell's been really effective off the bench, but the price increase has me off of him. Again, this team getting healthy, it is a game that matters, but it's a low total. Good chance it blows out. Not a ton of interest for me in Miami here, Smitty. How about you?
Yeah, not really getting to much. I have a few percent of Bam, but he's priced up. He's just power forward eligible, so it helps. Other than that, I'm just not very interested.
Yep, right there with you. And again, the game does matter for them, so there's a case to be made. It's just they're healthier than they have been. Wiggins has been out for a little bit. On the Pelican side, gotta take a breath for this one. Alvarado's questionable. Boston Brown, Hawkins, Jones, McCollum, Missy, Murphy, Murray, Olenek, Zion all out. Carlo Matkovic, who we would be interested in here, is listed as questionable. Yeah, Reeves looks pretty good. I said I didn't really like Robinson Earl, and last night he absolutely went off. If he starts again, he's going to look pretty good here. With Alvarado and Matkovic in, I think they have 9 guys available. So this is definitely a situation to keep an eye on. If they're out, I mean, one of them is going to have to dress. So if they're in and one doesn't start, maybe proceed with caution. They might just be dressing so they could play the game. But Reeves and Brooks are going to look good as value. Robinson Earl, who I really talked down on, I guess he's pretty good value. Elf off the bench looks fine. And then Lester Quinones was kind of a big spike out of nowhere last night. 3,100, very cheap, coming off a huge game, played really well. I don't mind mixing him in. Surprised the field's not getting to him at all. But yeah, just a really short rotation. Whether this game blows out or not, they don't have anybody. So they're going to have to play. Smitty, how much New Orleans are you getting to? And which of these guys are you going to call a priority here?
Yeah, I think it's still Matkovich for me. The power forward eligible is pretty big for him. Him and
Mhm.
Reeves look the best, assuming Matkovich plays. And I think them two, um, JRE, I guess, is okay. Not someone I like getting to either. I definitely wouldn't play him on FanDuel where he's center only, but DraftKings, I guess he's someone you can mix in. Keon Brooks, they've been giving him minutes. I think he looks solid. And then Jamal Cain, even coming off the bench, I think he's definitely in play too. And yeah, Lester Q, he could score in a hurry. Something that they need. I think he's in play. A lot of these dudes are kind of just in play, but I think the priorities are going to be Makovich, Reeves, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I will say this on Quinones too. I am really interested if his ownership holds. He got over 30 fantasy points and he shot 2 for 11 from three. He did not shoot well. And he had 5 fouls, so he was kind of in a little bit of foul trouble too. I mean, he could have an even better game than he did last night. So definitely someone I have circled as a tournament play. But yeah, those are the 8 o'clock games. Take a quick look at chat here. Talking as fast as I ever have. I think we're making pretty good time though. And DT, why is NBA taking so long to drop full injury report? Yeah, it's that. It's just the time of year, man, and it sucks. Trust me, I hear your frustration. I don't know, and I don't have the answer. Alvarado's in, so shuts up power there. Hopefully, we get the Makovich news here soon as well. But moving into the 8:30 window now, we only have one game. The Raptors taking on the Mavericks. Raptors game does not matter. Mavericks, I believe. Where are they? Yeah, they're playing for a home court in the play-in, I guess, for at least one game. So it does kind of matter for them. Taking a look at the injury report for Toronto, another one where I'm going to have to take a deep breath. No RJ Barrett, no Komiche, Grady Dick, Brandon Ingram, Jakob Podol, Manuel quickly all out. Jacoby Walter out as well, which is unfortunate. And a guy I was going to be very interested in, Jared Roden, listed as questionable. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Projected starting lineup right now, Sheed, Agbaji, Battle, Barnes, Mogbo. It's pretty funny they're letting Barnes play in these games while they're resting pretty much the whole entire team. I don't have much interest in Barnes. But I will say, I think she is a starting point guard. It's pretty interesting. Lawson and Roden coming off the bench plays them fine mixing in. I mean, they're pretty aggressive when they do get minutes. Other than that, I'm not so sure. Mogbo, though, with forward eligibility, back to back games over 50 fantasy points. Definitely someone I think you can mix in here. Obviously, against Anthony Davis, not the best matchup, but he's playing a ton of minutes. He's still affordable. They really don't have anybody. So why not go back to the well if no one wants to? 18% on DK, only 6 on FanDuel at 6,100 at power forward. A play I'm pretty comfortable getting to. Smitty, any Raptors for you?
I'm pretty far under the field on all these guys, but I do think they're in play. Mobo priced up, but he has power forward eligibility, which is pretty nice. I think he looks pretty solid. And then getting to a little bit of Jared Roden. I guess he's top of DK value, so it's all right. And then AJ Lawson, I'm like half the field. I think he's playable, but I don't think he's like a standout or anything. But
Yeah.
overall, that's kind of this whole team. They're like playable, but none of them are very good for fantasy except Mobo.
Yeah, I will say the model prefers Roden to Lawson, and Lawson's drawing way more ownership. So if Roden's in, maybe that's a pivot you might want to make. Over on the Dallas side of things, Anthony Davis is probable, Spence questionable, Kessler Edwards is out, no Hardy or Exum, Kyrie obviously out, no Kai Jones, Maxine Prosper, and Clay Thomas is questionable here as well. So again, they do want to win this game for seeding reasons. I don't know how many minutes these guys are going to have to play to make that happen. AD probably can't get to him. Again, we really like Jokic tonight. Giannis in a meaningful game looks pretty good here as well. We have him under 30 minutes. He's shown he can get there. It's not crazy, but probably not something I want to do. Other than that, I just really have issue getting to this team. Smitty, any Mavericks for you tonight?
Yeah, I have a few percent of AD, and other than that, literally no one else on this team, and I'm fine with that.
Nice, nice. Yeah, we'll take the quick ones when we can get them. Moving right into 9 o'clock. Again, every team's playing tonight. Only 10 games on the DK slate, 11 on FanDuel, though. Now we are into the 9 o'clock window. Another meaningful game between the Grizzlies and the Nuggets here. So Memphis needs to win. So does Denver. This is very important. Yeah, they don't want to fall into play and they want to keep their seeding, yada, yada, yada. Memphis did play last night, but taking a look over at the injury report, stalling. No Brandon Clark, no Jalen Wells suffered that brutal injury. Other than that, they're completely healthy. Denver, as good as they are, their defense is not so great. John Morant, to me, looks really solid. One of my favorite guard plays if I'm paying up for sure. I've been saying the past few weeks, I think with the new coach, he's playing more minutes, and it's going to cut into guys like Jackson and Bain. So for me, it's Morant here more than anything. Edie was pretty disappointing last night, got into foul trouble. It's really just Jaw here for me. I mean, you can make a case for Bain or Jaren Jackson in a competitive game, but to me, Morant stands out. That's who I'm going to prioritize. Smitty, how are you going to handle Memphis?
Yep, I'm getting to a ton of Morant. Let's see, I'm over double the field on him. I think he's one of the better spin ups on the slate, if you want to call him that. Just 9K. The minutes have been up. Like you said, it's a must win game for them. One of the tighter spreads. I think once again we want to stack the late game. So I think
Yep.
going to Jaw and Jokic, which we haven't talked about, makes a ton of sense.
Yep, and I'll use that to segue into Denver. Jokic, the top OFNX play on the slate, 18.3. We have him for 38 minutes, over 50% owned on both sites. Totally understand it, though. As far as injuries go, Jamal Murray is questionable. I think he's going to play. If he's out, obviously, Russ would see a little bit of a bump, as with Jalen Pickett, who's actually been starting over Russ as they keep Westbrook running that second unit off the bench. But yeah, if this team's healthy, man, I mean, you can make a case for any of the starters, but I think it's mostly just Jokic here for me. Going to be in most of my lineups. I absolutely love him as a pay up. We have so much value across the slate, just everywhere. I think he's very easy to get to, even at 13K on DK, 12.7 over on FanDuel. And if Murray's out, even more, I think I want to get to him. Just he's been tremendous lately, and he's got to put the team on his back here. This game has a 245 point total, tight spread, checks all the boxes. So Jokic for me can make a case for the others, but I don't really feel like it. I'm just gonna go heavy on Joker. How about you?
Yeah, it's Jokic for me. Currently have 98% on DraftKings.
Let's go.
And I think on FanDuel is the only place I would say that you can maybe get a little different if he's really 51%. Because there is some value guys that you might not need Jokic. So I think game theory wise on FanDuel you could get away a little bit more. But DraftKings, I'll probably just lock Jokic.
Yeah, where you have two centers, it's tough not to just take those raw points. Another game at 9 o'clock. The bane of my existence, the Brooklyn Nets taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Nets obviously game means nothing. Minnesota needs to win here, though, for sure. Massive favorites. 216.5 point total. I tried to make Reese Beekman a thing last night, though. He played terrible, got benched at half. But taking a look at the injury report today, no Claxton, Clowney, Johnson, Melton, D'Lo, Sharp, Cam Thomas, or Zaire Williams. So the only regular starter they have here is Keon Johnson. The projected lineup I'm seeing actually is Drew Timmy starting at center. So speaking of pivoting at center, if he starts there, I don't hate it. It's not a great matchup against Gobert, but at the same time, I mean, he could stretch him out to the 3 point line, kind of make things interesting. Jalen Wilson coming off a good game. Beekman killed us last night. I don't really want to go back there. But at the same time, he did play less minutes than a lot of these guys. We saw Tosan Ev Boam actually have one of the better games for these Nets. It's just impossible to project them because they're going with the hot hand. Jordy is the coach there. And yeah, we have no one over 30 minutes. I think everyone's going to get a chance. And if someone gets hot, they could be good. So you could mix these guys in, but I can't with any confidence sit here and recommend one player over the others. So proceed with caution on the Nets. If you're playing 150, fine, mix them in. Maybe set a rule that you don't have more than two. Probably don't want that. But yeah, they're all very cheap. Smitty, any Nets for you?
No, I don't mind mixing in Timmy though if he does start. I think it's just tough because, like you said, they're just trying to see what each guy has, so no one's really getting consistent run. Oh, everyone's under 30 minutes. It's just really hard to get there, and in a tough game environment. But I do think if Timmy starts, he's at least in play. All the other guys are just GPP plays.
Yep. I got a lot wrong last night. One thing I did get right though was being super bullish on Anthony Edwards. Had a tremendous game. Obviously some blowout risk here, but he looks pretty good again here. I do think I prefer Jaw if we're comparing them at the same price, but he's someone I could definitely see getting to again. An important game for Minnesota here. Certainly a winnable one as well. Randall, Gobert can make a case for either. Not necessarily going to prioritize them, but yeah, man, I don't mind mixing an ant. It's tough for me to sit here and say I want much of these other guys. I mean, Randall was getting more of the boards than Gobert last night, which was frustrating for me as someone who had Gobert's over. Got to 56 fantasy points, though. Really solid play there. Probably second in line for me. But those three, I have some interest in. I mean, McDaniels, Conley, Reed are going to play minutes, but again, some blowout risk here. Tough to have a ton of confidence in them collectively. I don't mind taking some shots on it to have another huge game, though. How about you?
Yep. It's mainly Ant and Randall for me. Randall's price is pretty good, and he has power forward eligibility, so I don't mind it. But the one I'm getting to of any meaning is Anthony Edwards.
Nice. Very impressed with the time we're making today, guys. We should be able to get to chat. So we are through the DK slate. We actually have one more game though that's going to be on the FanDuel slate, and there are some good plays here, so definitely want to talk through it. We got OKC taking on Utah, 234 point total here. OKC are favorites, but they're benching a lot of their starters. Caruso, Jang, Dort, SGA, Hartenstein, Holmgren, Topic, Wallace, Williams, all unavailable. Starting on the OKC side, yeah, probably a team we want to get to a little bit. Jalen Williams with an I is going to be the most appealing because he has forward eligibility on FanDuel. So you could fit him in with Joker. Even if you're getting different in center, you could fit him in there. Over 60% home feels a little bit crazy, but definitely a play I want to be getting to if I am playing on FanDuel. I think I have a couple lineups reserved there. Aaron Wiggins, pretty expensive, but at the same time, probably going to lead this team in usage. I think he looks fine. Isaiah Joe, with all the guards out other than him for the most part, he looks pretty good. And someone did call out Adam Flagler earlier. I think we have safer value, but honestly, if you got a hunch on one of these guys, go for it, man. Honestly, I don't want to talk anyone off any of these guys getting opportunities here. The thing is, if they get on the floor, they want to prove something. They're trying to earn their contract for the next year, make the team for the next year, try to get out of the G League, et cetera, et cetera. But priorities here for me, definitely Williams and Wiggins. Dylan Jones and Kenrich getting a lot of love as well. I think they're a little bit riskier though. So again, I really like Wiggins, Williams. Fine getting to some Isaiah Joe as well. Smitty, how would you kind of prioritize these OKC guys with so many players out?
Yeah, pretty similar. It's pretty crazy. They're still 9.5 point favorites. Is that right?
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
But Jalen Williams, I think he's the main priority for me. Other than that, I don't know. I wouldn't mind getting away from Wiggins a little bit. 60% at 6K. I think there's
Mm,
just as good of plays as him. But Isaiah Joe, I like him. Pretty much any of these guys look pretty good. Flagler, Mitchell, those two are both in play, but um, their minutes are kind of like they could range from 20 to 25, or we only have Mitchell for 18, so it's kind of hard to get there. But Isaiah Joe, Jalen Williams are probably my favorite two, along with Wiggins, I guess, looks okay. Dylan Jones is pretty productive when he's out there. We have him for 32 minutes, which might be a little heavy, but either way, I still think he looks okay.
yeah, I kind of overlooked Jones. Fields definitely getting there though. The model does like him, so if you need the value, you are looking to jam pay ups in your lineup. Definitely makes some sense. On the Utah side, huge underdogs here, even though OKC's benching everyone. Clarkson's out. Collier's questionable. Collins, Harkless, Hendricks, Kessler, Laurie all out, as are KJ Martin and Cody Williams. So if Collier's in, he's been playing really well. Wouldn't mind maybe mixing him in. Again, I think we have better guard plays tonight. Sensabaugh and Juzang probably going to start here. They've been productive. Not always in the same game. I mean, it's almost like they take turns. But Yu Zhang back-to-back games pushing 30 fantasy points. Sensabaugh had a really good game with him last time out against Portland. Those two I have interest in. Filipowski probably going to get the start at center. Coming off a crazy game where he had 70 fantasy points. There's a world where he's a pretty good play here as well. But honestly, I think I'm interested in Yu Zhang, Sensabaugh at the thin forward position. Other than that, tough team to get to. Filipowski, you could definitely make a case for him though, especially with the forward eligibility. So maybe keep him in mind as a tournament play. Smitty, how are you going to handle the Utah Jazz?
Yeah, I do think Juzang, Sensabaugh are both in play. No one really seems like a priority from here, but They're all GPP plays. I don't mind getting two. Keontae looks all right as well.
Nice. Yeah, especially if Collier ends up out, they
Yeah.
would see a little bit of a boost. Gonna refresh the model, take a quick look at chat, then we will do a quick dummy build for you guys over on DK. But yeah, let's take a quick look at chat. So Alvarado's in, Carlo is out. So yeah, I guess we can go back to Robinson Earl. Top FanDuel cash land and just quickly sorting by I get a Caligo, the main slate, so we get those OKC plays. But the OKC guys are actually at the top. Williams, Wiggins, Jokic. Goga right there with Jokic, though, because he has power forward eligibility. Giddy looks good. McConnell, if he starts. Dylan Jones. Feel free to pause that. Take a look at the ownership. That is going to update a bunch more times as we get news, though. So definitely check the links below to get behind the paywall. Prioritizing OKC on FanDuel, I think we kind of have to, Thomas. There's a lot of good spots to go tonight, but it's a great matchup, and they're very, very short. Um, and yeah, Jose, I mean, I know you're asking power, but this depends on who's in for the Knicks. If everyone's healthy, I think you have to go to top. And if Precious starts and a couple of the starters are out, probably go to Precious. But yeah, Smitty, let's do a quick dummy build here. Let's sort by ownership, just get the first few names in. Goga, TJ, Jokic, in that order. You fine with all three?
Yeah.
Nice. Come on. Don't freeze on me now. This is unfortunate. There we go. Yeah, there's just so many plays on tonight's slate. I guess it's taking longer to load than usual. We got Jokic in the late game. Last streams of the year, we're going really slow. And TJ, yeah, definitely going to be riskier if he comes off the bench. So just keep that in mind. But
I
I
like
think we want to go ahead.
I like Jerace too, assuming he starts. I don't see a starting lineup yet though.
Oh yeah, yeah. Assuming he starts, I'm guessing at the 3, but I like that a lot. Go ahead and get him in there. Definitely stars and scrubs, in my opinion. You want to get Morant
Yeah.
for the stack with Joker.
Yeah.
I think that sounds pretty damn good to me. I mean, we got the New Orleans guys, right? I mean, Mogbo at forward, maybe. What are you thinking?
Yeah. I'm cool with either of those.
Okay.
Reeves, JRE's gross, but
I know. I talked so much crap on him last night and he went off. I do like Mogbo. I think I'm fine with that. The one fear maybe is foul trouble against Ant. But if we go Reeves, we're going to get the pay up for a third guy. 8K for a forward, and this is a pretty damn good lineup. No RJ Barrett, Jaren Jackson Jr. in that late game.
yep.
I mean, we could stack it even more. Looks pretty good to me. How about
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I like it.
Nice. Couple of last questions here. Favorite point guard on FanDuel? Um, Probably Jaw for me. I mean, Isaiah Joe's up there as a value play. I'm gonna say Jaw. How about you, Smitty?
Yeah, probably Jaw.
Nice. All right, guys. Yeah, regular season winding down. I'm actually going to be back here Sunday afternoon for a brutal 15 game slate with Jayhawk, so I won't say my goodbyes yet. I think we're going to be doing some playoff streams too, so we'll say see you later, not goodbye. But definitely appreciate you guys being here all season. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, check the links in the description below. Definitely get behind that paywall, and we got Jayhawk going live in the Discord right now to talk you guys up into lock. Chaos. Definitely keep an eye on lineups, keep an eye on injuries. Things could change really quickly. Any last thoughts, maybe before we get out of here?
No, good luck navigating this crazy slate. Be watching for the Knicks news. I think that's probably the most important.
Amen, brother. I'm with you. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.